Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Here we are, a Tuesday, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Draft night comes up tonight. Pro Hoops Draft Show tonight, starting at 6 o'clock with our guy Brandon Snide and former Badger center Brian Butch. Those two will be going pick-by-pick coverage. Phone lines will be open all night if you want to jump in. I'll talk about the Bucks, talk about any picks that were made as they go pick by pick, any trades that may occur from the Bucks during the draft show tonight. Charlie is producing the show, so Charlie's here till 9 o'clock tonight, working straight through. And then after the Brewers game is done, we'll have the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show with Tim and Tommy as well tonight. So we're local today, 6 a to 11 p, baby, all day through on this one. And now the Bucks obviously have two picks in the first round, 10 and 13. Odds are they will find another one before the end of the night happens. So they'll probably walk away with 3 or 4 first-round picks, more than likely, how this all goes. So we got to talk about this Giannis deal. I've been in a really bad mood all day. I've been short with people in the building. Had my door shut a lot, mainly because I've been in meetings, but really not wanting to talk about this with really anybody. Was mad last night. I think I was up till 1:30. And then I couldn't fall asleep. So I could come on the air and just BS you and, oh, it's great. I love it. Yay, picks. That's not who I am. You know that. I wanted the Jaylen Brown deal. Y'all know that. That's because I didn't want to go through some long rebuild that's going to rely on a miracle of a draft choice to find the next MVP superstar player to land in Milwaukee, because you're not signing one in free agency. It's not happening. And if indeed the reports are true about good old Jimmy Haslam didn't want a Myles Garrett situation where he had a disgruntled star, well, damn. You better never trade for any veteran in the NBA going forward under Jimmy Haslam, because I got news for you. Whoever gets traded to the Browns is going to be disgruntled because they're on the damn Browns. And whoever gets traded to the Bucks in the future is going to be disgruntled because he's in Milwaukee playing for an organization that sucks. He's going to be disgruntled. Here's a news flash. That trade just sent you back to the Herb Cole era. That's where we are now. You just rewound straight back to the Herb Cole era. That's where this is. And now you get to go through the draft lottery is our Christmas every year again. Well, we've all been through it. You get to sit and watch the draft lottery like it is literally another holiday. You will not see the Bucks on Christmas Day. Who knows? Couldn't tell you the next time you're going to see them on Christmas Day. So you don't got to worry about making plans
Christmas
around.
Day on the NBA really matters that much.
Well, because the NFL. Correct. Right. But I mean, that's gone. These players that they're getting, who's the star? Who's the star? Tyler Hero's going to be gone, right? They're going to trade him. One would think. Now, who knows? But one would think Tyler Hero's going to go for whatever they can get for Tyler Hero. It's an expiring contract. They don't want to give him a new contract, making even more than $33 million a year, nor should they want to pay him that much money. So he's going to be gone to somewhere, probably today, at some point. So he's going to be gone. Then we have the situation of what to do with Miles Turner. Well, he's not a star either. And I love the conversation about Miles Turner from the national people. The conversation about Miles Turner is, well, they're not going to trade Miles Turner now. Why? Well, they don't want to be horrible and essentially get relegated out of having any chance of the number one pick, being really, really bad from year to year. So they got to keep a couple of good players so they can be around 25 to 30 wins to have a chance to maybe get a top 3 pick. But you can't have like back-to-back 15-win years or whatever with this new lottery system. So you got to kind of try to stay in purgatory. You really aren't allowed to bottom out, is what everybody says with this new deal. Now, I don't know how the Bucks are going to go about this, if they're going to trade Miles Turner, or if they're going to put Miles Turner back out there. You would think Kyle Kuzma is definitely not coming back. One would think that they would be able to get, I don't know, a biggie bag at Wendy's for Kyle Kuzma, maybe. I don't even know if you'll get that for Kyle Kuzma. But whatever the case may be, you hope you can get something good like a biggie bag at Wendy's. You have expiring contracts coming back in this deal. The player that you lobbied to get, a 20-year-old, that's who we had to have in this deal. What position does he play, Charlie?
Who are we talking about? I was on the phone before.
Sasha Jakovic or whatever his name is.
He's a point guard, I'm pretty sure.
What position does Ryan Reynolds play?
Point guard.
Who is deemed untouchable by all accords in all of this?
Ryan Reynolds.
What position does he play?
Point guard.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Like I don't understand. We're sitting here arguing. Here, I'll help. Of those two guys, neither one are going to be a superstar in this league. Neither will be a superstar.
And there's reports of them wanting, having interest now more so in Darius Acuff too, with these extra picks that they have.
But again, Darius, well, we'll get into that in a second. We'll wait, just hold on to the draft stuff. Nobody they got is probably going to be a superstar. If you said, of them, Sparky, make a bet on which one you think might have the best chance. It's Ware. It's easily Khalil Ware. Like, that's the dude. Now, can that dude put it all together with the work ethic, with the basketball IQ, and with everything that has to go into this to get to that level? Only Khalil Ware knows that. I don't know that. Taylor Jenkins got a 6-year deal. Probably not going to be long enough. But we'll see what happens with Taylor Jenkins and how well he has to coach all these guys up. The other part about this that I love, and I'm being sarcastic, is we got all these picks. I will give Jimmy Haslam credit for this. Jimmy Haslam, if the reports are true, learned from history, recent history. Myles Garrett situation, screw that. Don't want to go through that again, so I don't want Jaylen Brown. Learned from recent history. My history as a Bucks fan, for my entire life, being a diehard Bucks fan, is you literally have about as good a chance of winning a lottery as you do of finding another Giannis going forward in this organization. You got about as much good a chance as that. The odds are really, really stacked against you. And a couple of star players, Ray and Glenn, won enough. Matter of fact, was it not only good, it wasn't even enough. They made one run in the playoffs the entire time they were together. One run of all of that. And I'm listening earlier today. I don't even know what show it was, 9 to noon, maybe, whatever. I think it was Rami and Kuhn and Brandon Snide talking about these like superstar players. They're talking about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Ray Allen, Giannis. Stop. Ray Allen's not that. Ray Allen doesn't get to be in that conversation. You've had two. You've had him, Kareem, and you had Giannis. Ray, good player. Ray, number one player to win a championship? Absolutely not. Never was. Never going to happen. So he does not count. No, you made one run with that cat, and he was healthy. It wasn't because that dude was hurt all the time like Giannis. So that one doesn't count. So now you're going to tell me that with all of these first-round picks, like 2033 or whatever the hell it is, now you think they're just going to magically go and grab a couple of superstars and make it work? In what world do you think, knowing Bucks history, that's going to occur? In what world? Now, if you're in your 20s, God bless you. You don't know. This is one of these areas where old cranky guy like me or old cranky guy like Rami or Thunder, who've been through this our entire life, are going, it's done. The Giannis chapter is closed. Let's say that was chapter 3-4. Instead of opening up a new chapter, we're going to go back to chapter 2 before Giannis and relive all of that all over again now. Because Jimmy Haslam was worried he'd have a bitter star and he didn't want to deal with it. I asked this on X last night. It was like 1 a.m. Is Wes Eden selling the team? Is selling his portion of the team? Does Wes Eden's around? Does he do anything? Does he care? You hire Jimmy Haslam's sidekick to come in here and replace Peter Feigin. That was the first red flag that Jimmy Haslam was running things. And now here comes the reports of this is why this all went down. Jimmy Haslam making the calls, not Wes Eden's. He wasn't the one. It feels like now that Lasry's out and Feigin is out, Wes Edens is maybe going to start to distance himself a little bit. And maybe the New York dudes that all came together may be getting ready to turn around and hightail it out of Milwaukee as doomsday is coming for this franchise. You have an absolutely beautiful facility at Fiserv Forum. Beautiful facility. Deer District, A+. Everybody's, well, I remember just about, yeah. Fine. I'll tell you what I'm going to remember about all of this is what that ownership group did and Peter Feigin did to change the landscape of what downtown Milwaukee was. When they got here, it was a ghost town. Nobody cared about going down there. There was no activity, no nothing. Nothing. They re-energized all of that. Now, part of it was Giannis playing for the Bucks and doing really well and making that run and getting 60,000 people in the Deer District, and that was amazing. Previous ownership never even attempted to even think out of the box, even get to that point to allow themselves to have that conversation. Downtown Milwaukee, they took that conference center and they double, triple the size of that conference center downtown as well to draw more people in. More and more hotels coming to downtown Milwaukee. More restaurants, hotels, all of that stuff. So you worked your tail end off for that whole time to get to this point. Not Jimmy Haslam. Everybody else, 2 of which are gone, to get to that point. And in a swoop, this thing is going to flip right over on its head, and you're going to be back to ghost town right in that area. All that work they put in. All of that work that they put in. Now, as I've said before, and I'll say again, very, very smart to have another music venue that they just built because that will keep people coming. So that hopefully will help keep the restaurants and so forth alive on Old World 3rd Street in the Deer District. You'll continue to have a flow of people. Hopefully, Fiserv Forum will continue to attract big events and concerts and so forth, and that will be a constant flow of people. But the bread and butter was Bucks games, filling the stadium, people coming for playoff games, hanging out outside, having the big stage outside for the playoffs, and all of that stuff that goes with it. Now you're in danger of messing that all up. Messing it all up. All of it. And if Wes Edens goes, I'm good, I ain't going through this, and he bails, and if Haslam buys him out and he now has a majority, and when this lease comes up at Fiserv Forum, and they haven't won in a decade or whatever it ends up being, there's no guarantee that Jimmy Haslam will want to keep this team here. Why would he? If they're not winning and you're not putting butts in seats, because that's where we were with Herb Cole. Do you remember people walking up to Herb with brown paper bags on their heads into the section where Herb Cole was sitting? I do. I was doing the post-game show at Fitzgibbon's Bar in downtown Milwaukee, and those people who are now grown adults, who I still talk to from time to time, all came walking into the bar to have drinks after they pulled that stunt off. Now, you aren't going to see Jimmy Haslam sitting in there with everybody else in the lower bowl, do you think? Sitting in there and letting people be around him and taking conversation and so forth from everybody?
Yeah, no.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. You're literally wishing upon a damn star that they hit on some of these draft picks. That's what you're doing. You had a star player that you, with trading 10, whatever, could have brought possibly another player in and continue to be competitive in the playoffs and see how the whole thing plays out. See how motivated a Jaylen Brown was, how much of a revenge factor there was, and see how far that could essentially carry you. You decided not to do that, roll the dice and go, yeah, we may suck for 20 years, but I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to deal with Jaylen Brown, who may not want to be here. So see you later. Again, that's his choice. It's completely his choice, or their choice, however you want to do it. And John Horst, to you, I don't know what you're making, but it ain't going to be enough. They blocked you from going to Detroit. They gave you a new deal. It's not enough, man. You are in almost a no-win situation in this whole deal. Almost completely a no-win situation in that deal. In the big grand scheme of things, we can talk about, well, they got like 5 ones and they got like 4 players and we got pick swaps. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, boy, it's great. They got value. No, they didn't. Listen, those players they got, unless Ware pans out, the rest of them, none of that matters. Got guys on expiring contracts. Forget that. It's all going to come down to the draft picks, in which the lottery is even more screwed up than it was before. So now you have to learn how to play a whole new game to take advantage of how this new lottery plays out. You're going to play a game you don't know the rules to or how it works yet. And you chose to play that game at this moment in time. You have got to be kidding me. Went through 15-win seasons. Went through all of that. In fact, I was having a conversation with one of our sales guys today. I said, this roster is probably worse than the 15-win team. He starts laughing. No, there's no way. Want to hear the 15-win roster? Brandon Knight, Ramon Sessions, Chris Middleton, Ersan Ilyasova, John Henson, OJ Mayo, Larry Sanders, Jeff Adrian, Zaza Pachulia, Giannis as a rookie, Caron Butler, Nate Walters, Luke Ridnour. That's just, what, the top 13?
That's a pretty bad roster, Sparky.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, of those guys, who is better currently than those guys that I named off? Who is better? There's no way. And the other thing about this is, if you go through and look, not only that, these were younger guys that had experience, and it still was a bad year, right? Now you're taking a bunch of young guys with no leader. They brought Caron Butler in to be the vet for a bunch of those younger players, like Giannis and so forth. Who's the vet for these first-round picks tonight? Miles Turner? Kyle Kuzma?
If you keep one of those guys, yeah.
That's going to be their vet.
Taylor Jenkins is going to, you're hoping that he's coming in and the coach can be the leader of this team and give them a new identity.
Right. Because I'm telling you right now, if Kyle Kuzma is the vet of this team, you're screwed. If that's the guy these guys are going to look at for work ethic and everything else that goes along with it, and to have inspiration, no, he's not going to be. You know that. He's not going to be. No. I'm sorry. I know there are a bunch of people that are super excited and can't wait to see what happens and all of that. I just been through this before. We've all been through it. And trust me, we'll sit here and we'll talk this summer after this team is put together, and I'll come up with some way in my brain to figure out how maybe they're able to get into the postseason and maybe potentially do something. We always have the conversation about the Brewers. Hey, man, if the Brewers win a World Series, they can suck for 10 years. I don't care. I've said that time and time again. Right?
Yeah.
You want to know the difference?
What's that?
The Brewers, over the course of time, if they're bad, can rebuild it through the farm system and potentially get back to having that go where they are now. The Bucks don't get that. There is no farm system. It's you come play for 3 or 4 years. It doesn't work out, toodles, and we draft somebody else. If it doesn't work out right away, 3 or 4 years, toodles, see you later. With a farm system in baseball, you do have a chance to turn things around because there's so many more rounds of the draft. There's not just 2 rounds. You can't screw yourself and have no picks in an entire draft. That doesn't happen to a baseball team. You always have your picks because you're not allowed to trade future first-round picks or future second-round picks. Even if you were, there's going to be like 20 rounds of the draft. You're always going to be adding more talent to it. The Bucks don't have a 1 next year. You're not going to add any players, young players, to this roster unless you trade a veteran. And now you get younger again. The Packers have been doing this young thing for quite some time, right? Mm-hmm. How many Super Bowls have they been in?
Since I started here, none.
They haven't won the division in 3 years. It's pretty funny. My 10-year-old, they trade Giannis? Yep, they traded him in the middle of the night. What they get for him? I told him. He's like, oh, that was the extent of it. When I said yesterday, hey, they may trade for Jaylen Brown, he said, I'd rather have Jason Tatum. I was like, yeah. No, that's not happening. All right, let's take some calls. I'm going to try my best not to yell at y'all today. I can't guarantee nothing. Been in a bad mood all day because of this dumb deal. And, you know, at the end of the day, sports should not affect your day-to-day life, right? Sports should not ruin your mood for the day and so forth. But sometimes when you're as passionate as we are, that can happen. All right, let's go. I'll open up the phone lines. Take it wherever you want to go. I have a question, but we're not even going to do the question. So you just take it wherever you want to go, Bucks fans. You just take it wherever you want to go. Nicolay Law talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And don't forget, the Minions really wanted to impress the new big boss, Wendy's. So they cooked up some fun chaos for the fans. Say hello to the Minions and Monsters meal, featuring one of 4 unique collectibles. New Banana Frosty Swirl, your choice of a big bacon classic or a spicy chicken sandwich, plus a small fry. It's time to go bananas over this exclusive Wendy's experience, limited time only. Don't forget, Pro Hoops Draft Show comes up tonight. Brandon Snide, he's all fired up. He's in a happy mood. He loved the deal. So he'll be on tonight. Brian Butch, former Badger center, will be with him tonight. Charlie Houston producing the show, starting at 6 o'clock, going up till the time the Brewers are over. Then we'll have the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show with Tim and Tommy tonight. There may be a scenario, depending on if the Bucks have first-round picks still on the clock, that you may have Brandon hanging out with both of those guys, and everybody reacts to anything the Bucks may do the rest of the night, as they'll be going to 11 o'clock with the post-game show. So either way, we'll have it. My thanks to Tommy Wirtz, who jumped on the air last night from 11 o'clock to midnight after the trade broke and did an hour show. Tim Allen hung out for the first segment. They took some calls, some reaction, all that fun stuff. My thanks and appreciation to Tommy Wirtz for hopping on last night.
Extra shows lately. I mean, him did the extra long show after the Brewers 14-15 game in Las Vegas. Like, it's been fun. A lot of late nights for him.
He's loving every minute of it too. Every minute. He's such a trooper. Very excited. So again, my thanks to Tommy Wirtz for doing that last night. Do appreciate it. Those of you that think I'm going to come on the air and be like, let's remember Giannis. I'm not. It's not happening. Maybe it'll happen next year if and when he comes back and plays. Maybe we'll do it then. Maybe it'll never happen on this show. But I am definitely not going to be all mushy-gushy about that dude leaving. It's not happening. All right, I told you all you can go wherever you want to go with this thing with the Bucks and Giannis. Also, I should mention this. Chris Hook, Brewers pitching coach, comes up at 3 o'clock. Now, I had a chance to talk with Chris Hook before the show today. We recorded the interview, so you'll hear that coming up at 3 o'clock when we talk about the crew. So again, Chris Hook, Brewers pitching coach, talked to him before the show today. We'll play that back for you at 3 o'clock. So if you're a Brewers fan, definitely going to want to stay around for that. If you're not, tell a friend. Chris Hook, 3 o'clock. Trav and Brown Deer, you're next on the Nicolay Law Talking text line. What's up, Trav?
How's it going? I wish him the best,
Hold on a second. Trav, hold on.
Yeah.
Please, to the rest of you that are calling in this show, I want to talk to everybody. Don't ask me how I'm doing. Don't ask me how it's going. Okay. You know how it's going, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I talked to Rami in 201 with Leroy and Ariel during that season. Nobody can take that away from us,
Agreed. I did the post-game show after they won the NBA championship. It was amazing. Yes.
Exactly. And then things changed. But like you said, all these, Tyler Hero, it's like, Karan Butler, like you said, he came maybe, because he's coming home. But the Bucks in number one picks, tractor trailer, all that, we're no good. And I told Rami, I said, the next time after an All-Star break, maybe we can all talk again. It's a bad day, but life moves forward. Maybe, because I'm about your same age, we haven't seen, I've seen the Packer Super Bowl. I've seen the Bucks championship. All I need is a Brewers, and that would make me complete.
Correct.
Deep down.
Right. Exactly right. Thanks for the call, Trev. That's the other thing working against the organization. We're being honest. We've all seen it. So now there really is nothing to get all worked up about or everything. Yeah, call me when you're competitive for a championship again. I saw you win a championship. I'm good for the rest of my life.
It kind of feels hard to complain.
Right. Yeah, so now it's just like, I don't even need to watch you. Like somebody tell me when they're good again, and then I'll start watching. But I'm not wasting the next 10 to 15 years of my life hoping and wishing they win a championship before I die. Because I've seen it. I saw it. We watched it. We saw what happens. So now if y'all want to go suck for 15 years, do what you got to do. But what's going to happen is even less people are going to care than they did the last time. The last time every year, people try to figure out how to motivate themselves to try and figure out how this might actually happen and do something and how the path forward is. You're not going to have that type of momentum anymore. And then the younger ones that are in their 20s, they really don't give a damn about watching your games. They're going to watch the highlights on TikTok or Instagram. So if they're not watching your games, the old ones like me, that's who you're relying on to watch the games. How many of these old guys are going to sit around and watch your basketball games when you make a deal like that? And now it's, well, give us time. We should be good in 10 years.
Well, and especially, I guess, when Giannis was the guy that sold a lot of those old guys on being basketball fans in the first place. I think there's a lot of people who weren't basketball fans that became basketball fans because Giannis was there. And that was before the championship.
Men and women.
Right. You got so many people to have eyes on the game in Milwaukee, and that was really cool. I think at the same time, I don't know. I think the fact that they did win that championship and that they have that in the past, and like I said, it's hard to complain about all of this because they have that championship. I don't know, shouldn't that make it easier to watch these teams when they start to struggle a little bit? Shouldn't that be like, okay, I understand. I give them a little bit of grace through these next few years. And I know you've lived through it. I haven't lived through it. Sure. But it's the day after this trade. Like, let's give it some time. They may get into a space where they can start getting back on track.
Do you know what they're about to be?
Not great.
The Bulls.
I think they'll have a better shot at turning it around than the Bulls because they've won a championship more recently with the front office that they have.
I don't think so. You're going to go into purgatory like the Bulls have been for how many years? That's exactly it. And then they're going to be selling you on, hey, we're a 10 seed. Come buy playoff tickets. We're in the play-in tournament, everybody. And everybody's going to go, dude, we saw you won a title. You think I'm going to get excited about you being a damn 10 seed? I'm not going to get excited about you being a 10 seed. I'm just telling you, like, the vibe from fans towards them is going to be completely different than before when they were just putrid. And then it's like, oh, we're the 8 seed. We're going to get smoked again. Whatever. And then when you have the John Salmons year, fear the deer, there was some electricity. What happened? We paid John Salmons, never should have, said that when it happened. Then they paid Corey Maggette. That was moronic. I got yelled at for dumping water on the fan base because I wasn't happy about that signing. Everything that they did, they touched after that, blew up in their face. Everything. But again, be happy. They'll be fine. Trell, North Side, you're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily. What's up, Trell?
Hey, Sparky, I love you, man.
You wanted this, so you should be excited.
This is midday madness at its prime right here.
Well,
I'm just sitting there listening to this. This is epic radio right here, like, seriously. Now, I would say, like, to me, Sparky, you changed so much because you just got done saying how you didn't want them to sign John Salmons and Corey Maggette back when they were trying to be that type of playoff type middling team. But you were on board for them to take the Jaylen Brown.
You are not comparing Jaylen Brown to John Salmons.
No, what I'm saying
You're not comparing him to Corey Maggette either, right?
Sparky, come on now.
Okay, well, I'm just making sure.
As far as the players, I'm comparing about the comprisement of the team. They weren't going to win anything with Jaylen Brown. That's not the timeline that they were on. So let me just get to the deals real quick because we got more people, and I don't want to go back and forth about something that doesn't make any sense right now. So, okay, the Bucks took the right deal. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with Haslam, I guess it was, that ended up being the person that said take his deal. Because the Boston Celtics deal, okay, they had the premium player in Jaylen Brown. Gotcha. But they tried to offer the Bucks the 27th pick this year and another first-round pick for next year, which they would have been a really good team, even with the new rules in the draft. More than likely, the Bucks weren't going to get a good pick. So, and that's all the assets they were going to get. The Bucks were trying to get them to offer some of their young players something that could give them some look into the future. They wouldn't do it. So they have two bites at the apple with this deal with Miami. You got the young players you got, plus you got 2 picks of this year. And if you trade some of those players and get more picks or whatever, I'm hoping that's the case. But you also get 2 picks in 31, and you get 2 picks in 33 when Giannis may not even be playing for the Heat in 33. Or if he is playing, he may be on his last limb and not even effective. And you may get another. But that's why I said you get 2 bites of the apple. You got a chance to rebuild right now. If you screw it up and you mess it up in 5 years, you got 4 picks in the next 2 out of the 3 drafts to try to reboot again. Yes. Are we in the situation that we were in before we got Giannis? Yes, that's what we're. We're the Milwaukee Bucks. That's what we got. I think we got spoiled over a decade and thought that it was just going to be like this all the time. We had a small error for making mistakes. The error that we made is we traded for Damian Lillard, and it completely backfired. And as a Milwaukee Bucks fan, we're a small market team. When you make moves like trading for Jrue Holiday, it has to hit. Jrue Holiday trade hit. So it extended our time to be able to hold on to Giannis. We made a trade for Damian Lillard, and it absolutely backfired against us. And that's one of the main reasons why we're in the situation we're in. But you know what? The guy never wanted to be here. And I'm tired of the Bucks just because we want to kind of rush and massage things to get players and get the team, getting players here who are not invested in this city. Because what happens is you don't ever get the best of that player. That player like Damian Lillard was pretty much, we probably got, even when he wasn't injured, we probably got 60% at his best of Damian Lillard. He was never invested in this city and this team, no matter how much he put on the face. So that's what screwed us. That's went downhill. And then you got Haslam buying in the franchise in 23. So, I mean, Haslam has not been known to be a great sports owner, but that's why I said I can't believe it. I actually agree with him making a decision on this right here, because I think if we got Brown, that we were going to try to do something real fast try to be a playoff team to sell tickets and all that, and then we were going to go downhill with not much draft compensation.
Why were they going to go downhill for?
Huh?
Why were they going to go downhill? Were you predicting a Jaylen Brown injury at 30, or what were you predicting?
No, what I'm saying, I mean, according to our luck, I wouldn't be surprised by that, but that's not what I'm saying.
Right, you're right. We can't control the bad luck. You couldn't control Lillard getting hurt and having the blood issues and everything else that he had. You can't predict that, but you at least have to be aggressive and give yourself a chance at doing something. Like, I'm never going to be critical of John Horst for that Lillard deal.
No,
he was trying to get over the top. And if this Jaylen Brown deal was a similar situation of, look, I've got 10. I still have some other working things that I can do. They got some player exceptions they can use in free agency. There was a way to continue to build this thing to put him in a position to be a 4 or a 5 seed next year.
No, Sparky. No, I disagree. I'm going to tell you why I disagree. I just told you were going to get 2 late-in first-round picks for this year and next year.
Yeah.
What about when you got to give up your pick for next year and you're giving up your pick at 29 and you don't really have control over your picks into the 30s? You got no other resource as far as draft picks. So you okay, maybe you get something.
How much did they use draft picks for Giannis? Why would they be using draft picks for Jaylen Brown? They didn't use them for Giannis. They were using it through other avenues.
No, what I'm saying, Sparky, is that by doing this with Miami, you got a reset, that you got cushion. If they fail in this rebuild, they still got 2 drafts in the 30s where they get double picks. So you got a chance to, like I'm saying, it may not work in the first 5-year span. It may work in the second 5 years. What I'm saying is that the difference between me and you right now, you used to be patient before they started with it a long time ago back
Correct.
then. Now you're not.
Correct.
I'm more patient now.
Yes.
Now I'm willing to wait to see how this rebuild turns out. I know that it was pie in the sky, the situation that happened with Giannis. Like he grew right in front of our eyes to be the player that we always dreamed and hoped that the Bucks could get. Okay, that's great. We got a championship out of it. I'm great for that. But we're back to being the Milwaukee Bucks. Now we got to figure it out again. That's all.
Yeah, exactly right, Trell. Thanks for the call. And that's the issue. Without saying it, he's saying we're back to being a horribly run organization, more than likely again, and we're about to go through the doldrums again. Like, not only the idea that you got Giannis and John Hammond and Billy McKinney, they get all the credit in the world. That was their pick, with all due respect to John. Those 2 guys were scouting them. Those 2 guys were the ones involved. Really, Billy McKinney. They were all about it, okay? So he ends up being a great player. Does John Hammond get credit for that? I don't know. But he took a swing and said, if it works, this could be a difference maker. We might have gotten a star player. I don't think he even thought he'd be a superstar, because everyone was saying poor man's Kevin Durant. He didn't even like that label. He didn't want to attach to Kevin Durant. So you didn't know how Giannis would work. Or the Jason Kidd introducing him to Kobe and KG and the mentality that would then be shifted onto him and all that. You didn't know what was going to happen, but he took a swing. And that's what they're going to have to do here in Milwaukee. They're going to have to continue to take swings and hope. But do you know the other thing that was just as lucky as the talent itself? Was the dude himself that didn't know anything about this country. Didn't know anything. Didn't know what it was like to live in New York. Didn't know what it was like to live in Chicago. Didn't know what it was like to live in LA. Didn't know what it was like to have chasing girls or none of that other stuff. He didn't know any of that, right? So you get somebody that comes in completely ignorant to everything, and you got to essentially mold him and push him in the direction you wanted to push him. And it wasn't until years later that he started to figure things out of, man, that seems pretty cool what Kobe's got over there. Man, do you see that what KG's got? Man, look at where they're living there. Man, you see where Dwayne Wade's living in South Beach? When he started to figure this out 5-6 years ago, that's when he started pressing and trying to figure out, maybe I can get out and go have what they have. But you got all that rampway where he didn't know any different and he stayed. Now, let's say you get lucky in the draft. Let's say tonight they take 10 and 13 and they move up to 6. They take Acuff, or they take Brown, or Caleb Wilson falls, or Peterson falls, whatever. They take one of them. They all know what is going on in this country. They all came up on the AAU circuit. They all know what the end game is and where they want to be. To expect that you're going to get 13 years of loyalty from anybody coming into this situation now, that's another big ask. You may get a stud player. He may come and play. And then he'll get that next big contract, because nobody's leaving before the next big contract. He's going to get that next big contract. And then it may be, I don't want to be here. Trade me. I want to go somewhere else after he signs the deal. And then you may be screwed. That's the other part of the Giannis deal that made this so special. Mike Shorewood, you're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Sparky. Yeah, I disagree with you a little bit. First off, thank Giannis. It was a great 13-year run, incredible to watch. They delivered the title. The Deer District arena got built, everything. But I just think it was better off for them to part ways. I think he had his course here, and I think the Bucks were better off. To me, I disagree with you in terms of the trade aspect. To me, Jaylen Brown, as good as he is, he seems like a really cantankerous guy. He seems really unhappy, and he just seems like a more subtle Aaron Rodgers. And even with winning the title, he had the best year of his career last year, and he's still bitching.
He doesn't feel like he didn't feel like he was being respected in a situation where he was viewed as the two. He thinks he can go be the lead dog somewhere and do just as well.
He did. He's getting the respect of getting $60 million a year, and that's my next point. Do you want to be stuck as the Bucks franchise paying that guy $60 million a year when he can go off the end at any point in time? I just think they got the better offer for Miami. Khalil Ware really intrigues me. I think he can really be a star level player. I like Caracas, or how do you pronounce his name? I think he's showing some flashes, and you got some draft picks. Now it's incumbent upon Horse and crew to really hit on those picks. But you look at the Eastern Conference, who's the big stonewall in the East? It's wide open, so you can have a quick turnaround. You look at a team like Portland. They're a small market team that got rid of their star. They made the playoffs last year as a 7th seed, so it could be done within a quick year. So I just think the Bucks had to make this move, and I'm just glad that he ended up in Miami, not Boston, because I really despise Boston in the most part. So I think the Bucks going forward are going to be better off, and I just think your aspect of them being down for so long is not going to happen. I think within 2 years you can get this bad boy turned around.
Well, Mike, hopefully I'll still have a job in 2 years, and you can call back and tell me you were right and I was wrong. That would be wonderful. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Don't forget, Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, proudly outfitted by Burkhardt Sporting Goods, our official apparel partner. Outfit your team or company with custom apparel today. Again, at BSG1881.com. BSG1881.com. Welcome back in. Steve Sparky Fiver with you. Charlie using over there other side of the glass. We didn't read some of these dugout YouTube chat messages that we have over here for Wisconsin Sports Daily about Giannis and the Bucks. Don't forget, Brewers pitching coach Chris Hook joins the show coming up in the next segment. What do you got, Charlie?
So over here, Pete's commented a couple different times. So he says Bucks Nation sees a bright future. The Giannis tenure had to end. If we head on down to Paul, he says, can the Bucks combine some of the new players and old ones to move up in tonight's draft? And then he also brings up Jaylen Brown in another comment over there. If we hear from Brent and Sparky, it's over at least. I feel a sense of relief. Also feel like the Herb Cole days are back. Praying that's not the case and the Bucks have to hit tonight.
Yeah, I don't even know what to tell y'all. Like, as I've said before, unless somebody falls to them at 10 that's not supposed to be there, you just don't see a superstar type player at 10. You definitely don't see one at 13. So they either have to figure out of how to move up, or they just to go, we don't think they're superstar players either. So maybe they take 10 and they make a trade with somebody below them that has 2 first-round picks, and they go back to try and add more picks. Maybe the goal by the Bucks for this draft tonight is trade Tyler Hero, get another first-round pick, maybe do something else, and walk out of this draft with 3 or 4 first-round picks, and they all play next year. They all play. You're going to suck anyhow. They all play and hope these guys grow together like the Fab Five in Michigan. And hope they figure it out that way. Maybe that's the plan. We'll find out. Chris Hook, Bruce pitching coach, next. Time for your fan weather forecast brought to you by the Milwaukee Area Napa Auto Care Association. 73 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Looks like we got some sun for the rest of the night. No rain in the forecast. Low of 57.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, here we go. Hour number 2. We'll get back into more Bucks talk and so forth, but I think it's all fair to say we cannot do this for 3 hours straight because I will lose my mind, and I can't do this. And tonight I'm going to see my kid play baseball, and you know what that's going to be, don't you? Sparky, what do you think? Sparky. That's what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. That's what it's going to be.
And you're just not going to be happy in general because you're going to watch baseball with little kids that you tend to get angry about too.
Sure,
sometimes.
but that's okay. Like I would rather go watch my kid play 10U baseball over going to a Bucks game, over going to a Brewers game, over going to a Packers game, over going anything.
Yeah, of course.
I'd rather watch my
still
kid
get angry.
Sure, I do. Yes. Yeah, I absolutely do. Yeah, I was at practice yesterday. I was getting mad. So yeah, absolutely. No, there's no question about that. And one day you too will, Charlie, get to that point.
I think I'll be a cooler head.
I will make the prediction at some point later in life. Charlie will be texting me being like, dude, what do I do? Like, this is all going on. What would you do with this situation? Yep, it's going to happen. Or you'll give me a call. Dude, I got to talk to you about what's going on with the kids' basketball team. Yeah. I'll be here for you no matter what. Chris Hook, Brewers pitching coach, had a chance to sit down and talk with him before the show today. And there was lots to talk about, especially with Brandon Woodruff being so good last night. Double digits in strikeouts last night, being really good. Getting up to 94 miles an hour and building some steam in that game. Very, very impressive game by him. So we talked to Chris Hook, and this is what it sounded like.
It's time to talk about the crew. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, time to talk about the crew. A special guest today. We have Brewers pitching coach Chris Hook joining us on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Chris, thanks for coming on, man. Truly do appreciate it. And I would have to imagine it couldn't have went any better for Brandon Woodruff last night after he strikes out 10 and throws some shutout baseball.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. So I admit, I think it's always hard when you send guys out for rehab assignments and they are not able to turn up their intent because the fans are not there. Their level of competitiveness is probably not there. And then when you put them in an environment, a major league environment, they kind of get to where they need to be. And we saw that out of Woody last night, and it was incredible to watch.
The other thing, too, about Woodruff is, no, he's not going to throw 98. He's not going to throw 104 like Miz necessarily, but he was touching 94 I was seeing last night. But the run on his fastball, I think, is the difference maker probably for him.
Yeah, last night was kind of unique here. We've played many times in this ballpark, but the wind was unique. Even for their guys, you could see some different movement profiles. So I think he was able to take advantage of some of that last night. The one comeback sinker, the Suarez, was like 22 inches. That's not normal for him. So we'll take it when we can get it. And, it's some different ballparks, Sparky. It's just so interesting how if the wind shifts in a different way, you can kind of see things uptick or go down, during the game. So we're always watching and keeping an eye on that so we can make adjustments. But last night it was obviously very special on a lot of fronts.
So as far as how you treat Brandon Woodruff kind of going forward here, there was talk of, maybe it's a 6-man rotation and everybody gets an extra day off. And Pat Murphy quickly said no to that and said, no, it's going to be a normal 5-man rotation. But I mean, you have Woodruff, who you want to keep healthy. But is there also some concern as far as, innings and games for Miz coming off of last year going into this year now with really his first full workload for an entire season in MLB?
Well, we're not just doing it with Miz. I mean, we've got Drowan, you got Harrison, you've got even Gasser. All of these guys are going. I always talk about it as a race, right? They're running the marathon for the first time, so they have to go through those bumps and bruises. And again, we got to take care of Woody. So there are a lot of concerns there, but we're always proactively trying to plan things, using off days appropriately. If we need to insert somebody from somewhere else, Nashville, whatever, into spots, we're going to do that. But yeah, we are always looking forward, always trying to find ways to make sure our guys are recovering well. Our guys, our trainers, and our strength group do an outstanding job as well. So there are a lot of metrics that go into that. There's a lot of common sense that goes into that. But we have to be in front of all of this. I know there were years ago that there was a popular pitcher, I won't name his name, but that, they were telling us about, the last month of the season, we're going to do this or do that. Now we're trying to actively stay in front of it and trying to do what we can to make sure our guys are going through the end run. We want to pitch until November, and that's always our thought process.
Tom Brewers pitcher coach Chris Hook here on Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. I want to talk about Sproat a little bit, if you don't mind, because I feel like of everybody that Pat Murphy talks about, I feel like Sproat is the one that kind of, I'm not going to say gets nitpicked at the most, but he kind of pokes at a little bit more than the others. And then you listen to the TV broadcast, and Vinny Rottino says, this guy has potential to be an elite starting pitcher in this league if he puts it all together. When he says he needs to put it all together, what are the missing pieces for Brandon Sproat right now?
Well, the first thing I want to mention is Brandon Sproat has the least amount of big league starts to anybody in this rotation. Gasser's got his little touch. Harrison has got, coming into the season, 25 to 40 starts. Of course, Miz had his starts last year. This Sproat had 2. So I think he gets an unfair, he is the, I don't want to say the youngest, but least experienced of all the groups. So he's going to go through some, ups and downs. So, and again, I think it's unfair to kind of put him in the other guy's category. Obviously, you can't put him in Woody's category. You can see the difference in a guy like that. So, I mean, I think it's unfair to kind of apples to apples him with the other group. He's getting there. There are a lot of things to get better. I thought last time out, I'm like, okay, we're going to turn the corner. He was doing a lot of things that we were doing in between here to kind of get him a little freer, a little bit more convicted. Hopefully you see a little bit at the last foot of his last fastball or his stuff in general, that it's playing up a little bit. So we're doing some things in the back end here to get him a little bit more convicted overall, and just to command the baseball, consistently. And that's, and you have to go through this to be able to know what adjustments you need to make. Murph put the pressure on him. That's good. I'm like, hey, man, this is not practice. This is not instructional league. I don't think he's taking it as that. But, I mean, these are big league games that we have to get accustomed to and understand. And he's doing it live action. The bullets are coming at him, right, during a game. And it's not easy. And, again, I think that the only way for him to get experience is to go through the process, and for us to be able to, in the background, hey, what are the choices you could have made here? What could you have done differently here? And then hopefully he'll go out the next start and make those adjustments. But I thought, even in his last 3 starts, Colorado, Las Vegas, difficult spot to pitch in. He pitched extremely well. And last time before his hamstring cramped up on him, I thought it was really, really special. So we're hoping to see continuations of that. Not saying it's going to happen, but, there are bumps and bruises along the way. We just got to be aware of them and be able to work through those.
You bring up Las Vegas. I'm not quite sure anybody maybe expected it to get out of control like it did, especially in that first game. And Chad Patrick got roughed up there, obviously, in Las Vegas. And then he comes back his next outing, doesn't go as well. Then he kind of rebounds a little bit after that. And then this last outing, the home run, non-consequential home run, obviously, to Rowdy Tellez at the end of the day. Where is Chad Patrick at right now? Just a blip on the radar? No concerns kind of going forward, or where is he at?
Oh, no, I think there's always a little reverb from Las Vegas. I mean, it's like, I don't think that I can quite pontificate exactly what goes on in elevation in Colorado, in Las Vegas. I spent a lot of time in the PCL and all these high elevation places. Your stuff doesn't move the same, right? And it's almost like it takes you a outing or two to get back down to, and then I think Harrison said it's sea level, and not so much sea level, but just getting out of the altitude. It's like I throw my four seam, and my four seam normally does this, and it's like last night, like I said, there was a difference in movement properties overall. Like I throw this and I'm usually fine. Well, that pitch has been pushed down 4 inches that it normally does, and usually I get a foul ball or whiff there. Well, when I throw it here, it doesn't do that, and I get smashed. So it's like, oh, where am I? Where am I? How am I going to adjust that? And then you kind of come back to normalize, and you're like, okay, I threw that last time, and it was safe, or it got crushed. Do I do it again? So there's that little bit of conviction meter that kind of goes down for you for a second, so until you get back and acclimated to normal atmospheric situations here. So it's very tough. Let me tell you, I think the Colorado Rockies pitching coach job and those pitchers have got the toughest job in baseball, because basically you're this type of pitcher in this park and this type of pitcher in another park, and you're always going back and forth when it's hard enough to pitch just as one type. So it's a big challenge, and again I think Chad's fine. I thought the conviction was that, like you said, he gave up the home run, but I think he's in a really good spot right now.
Talking with Chris Hook, Brewers pitching coach here on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. Pat Murphy has done this for the last couple of years. I don't remember another Brewers manager, even guys that were catchers like Ned Yost, ever really going out of the way to praise the catcher as much as Pat Murphy praises William Contreras and the job that he does. For those people that are sitting home and don't understand the intricacies of what he's doing throughout the course of the game, I mean, is he essentially kind of like directing the orchestra behind the plate, and then also at the same time communicating what he's seeing as far as if the ball's moving, ball's not moving, and so forth from the pitcher? Just how big really is he versus, say, if you had a rookie catcher in that same spot?
Oh, yeah, it's quite a bit different. I think it's just like we talk about. It's just an experience at a high level that he has seen multiple time and time over again. It's just like when he reads a swing on a pitch that he knows, I don't need to do this. It's an instinctual thing that he does that you can't teach. William, what did you see there? Well, I saw him. He's not, William, it's it's kind of a funny thing. He's a quiet man. He doesn't say a whole lot. It's more of like I look at him. Hey, what do you got here? It's like he shakes his head. He probably doesn't say 10 words, but there's a lot of body language going on, and there's a lot of looks going on. Hey, is he close? He's okay. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot, but once the game starts, the guy's fearless, and he has belief in our guys, and he knows them so well. He knows exactly what it takes to get them to the right spot, make the right pitch. I know I'm going to get them out with this pitch. I'm going to choose this one to get this punch out on this one. So again, you can't, the game, there's so many intricacies in this game that if you can't respect someone who's done it and is really good at seeing those small little details, you just like, oh, it's just a catcher. And then you see the guy, there's different organizations that are calling pitches. Like there's so much in between that we're missing, or people don't understand that it's just because of the reps that he's seen and just the feel and the understanding of what it takes to get big league hitters out. We've got a special case behind the plate and an elite offensive player as well. So we've got we have a unicorn in the sport, and we're very, very lucky to have him.
That is a great way to put it. I always said that I thought Yadi Molina for the longest time was that dude in Major League Baseball. And I kind of feel like William Contreras is now that guy currently in baseball.
Very similar. It's like I said, it's the instinctual. It's making the right decisions. It's when when to go out to the mound. It's when to grab Uribe by the neck and say, "Stop doing that." All of those things. He's doing that. It's special. it's special. And I think sometimes he does it every night. And the other thing, I think people don't understand the physicality of that job is very, very difficult. And then I think for him to do it as much as he does, and then get pissed when Murph doesn't put him in the lineup.
Yes.
Like, hey, I don't want the day off. You know what I mean? So this is a guy that wants to go out and perform. And when the lights are the brightest, playoffs, those types of things, he turns it up another notch. So we're really blessed to have him, and I'm glad he's in a Brewers uniform.
I've got two more for you. I want to know about the closer role on this baseball team. Is it truly Trevor Megill now as the closer? Because I thought it was, again, Trevor Megill, and then Megill pitches the 8th, and Ashby goes out there for the 9th the other day. Is it still kind of by committee? Is there a plan to have a permanent closer again in Milwaukee this year? Where are we at on that?
Well, I don't think we could always say, oh, you got a permanent closer. I think when things are, majority of time, I think Trev's he's gonna probably close those games. But when the lineup sits up and we have one of the best left-handed relievers in the game, and we have left-handed coming up, and he dominates lefties, that's the choice you make. It didn't work out the other day, but I think that's always going to be probably where it goes. It's going to see where the lineup is, and I think he's going to draw that card more often than not. But if there are other opportunities, and we have an elite lefty against left-handed hitters, we'll do that.
Okay, I lied. I got a follow-up now to this one before I get to my last one, which I think is a little bit more fun. Which is, when you go to make that decision late in a game, is it more Murph listening to you? Is it more Murph's idea and you guys go back and forth? How does that decision-making process work? Is maybe you have Contreras involved in it? How does that work?
No, yeah, obviously, for sure. But we've got Jim Henderson, myself, and Murph. Murph makes the final call here. Jim has every bit of information that he needs to know to make the best decision, and we'll kind of it's like a three-headed decision, and then Murph's got the final call.
Last question, a little bit more fun. You're old school guy. You like this ABS stuff?
Absolutely. I think it brings accountability to everything, right? Like, if you think about it, as a pitcher, we always talk about being able to fill up the strike zone. Well, we're held to account. We're accountable to that zone, right? And so every time we practice, like, hey, if you're going to fill the strike zone up, you've got to do these things instead of well, maybe your catcher can get you a little bit off the plate. Like, that was always a thing in the minor league level where I got catchers that are they're 2 gloves off the edge of the plate. I'm like, what is that going to do for us? I got to get this guy to throw the ball over the plate. So I think part of that is the accountability for our pitchers, the accountability for our umpires. And again, they do a tremendous job, very similar to a catcher back there taking a beating. They have to make decisions. They have to make 200 decisions a night, right or wrong. But this gives them some help. They're also getting in their ear when they do miss pitches. Hey, you missed that by a ball and a half. So they're getting better, and they're also, like I said, it's, they're accountable to that strike zone. And I think that leads to a better game that helps our hitters. We're not getting these egregious bad calls. I just think it makes the game better overall, and it just makes it cleaner.
Brewers pitching coach Chris Hook, he's going to have his radio show one day. I don't know when, but I want to be a co-host whenever you get your own radio show because you're so good at this. Thank you so much for coming on, man, and continued success doing what you do. I'm glad you're going to be here for a long time.
Thanks, Sparky.
Take care. There he is. Chris Hook joining us here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, joining us on the guest hotline. Powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. You think Giannis sings this in the shower for the last year? I mean, you think, hold on, I got to turn you on. What now?
Bucks ownership may be singing this right now. This is
they're the ones that did this mess. They can't be mad at
Bucks
anybody.
fans in between because neither Giannis can't be singing this either.
Well, of course Giannis was singing it. Giannis been singing this for the last year. He can't get no satisfaction with this organization. Clearly, he wanted out. So I'm sure this would be a song that he's singing. Can't get no satisfaction. This is the other part about this. And we're back to the Bucks, by the way. So if you want to hop on board and vent and say whatever you got to say or praise the deal and be happy we have who we have in the front office, then do what you got to do. Nicolay Law Talk and text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Again, a thanks to Chris Hook. He is so good doing interviews. So really, really enjoyed the fact that we were able to sit down and talk with him earlier today. This whole Giannis thing about this is my city. This is my city. He's pounding his chest running down the floor. He's never leaving. Woo, he's never leaving. Loyalty's in my DNA. Remember all that? Again, from the perspective of a fan, you're allowed to be mad. You're allowed to be hurt. You're allowed to be relieved that it's over. Any emotion that you have right now, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm angry. And that's okay. How long will I be angry for? I don't know. But I'm not happy. I'm not in a good mood. And mainly because I have a pretty good idea of what the hell is coming. And that's why I'm so mad. That's the biggest thing. And Bucks basketball, that's been my thing forever. I got a bunch of Giannis jerseys. My kids have gotten me over the course of time and so forth, and all kinds of Bucks stuff in my house. I'm not wearing those Giannis jerseys anymore. I promise you. That ain't happening. Maybe when he retires, because I'm not growing anymore. I may shrink, but I'm not growing anymore. Maybe then I'll pull him out. I'm not wearing him when he's playing for another team. There's no chance that's happening. Nada. I may be 75 walking around with the Giannis jersey on at that point. Maybe. I'm not wearing it while he's playing for somebody else. I'm going to tell you something else that I'm not going to do. I'm not going to root for injury. That's something else I'm not going to do. And I'm not going to applaud and be all excited when he goes down hurt at some point and the Heat fall apart because he can't stay healthy. I'm not going to do that either. I don't wish ill will on the guy. I don't wish bad things on the guy. None of that. I am more angry of the situation that we are in with Jimmy Haslam as part owner of this team. That's where all of this lies for me. That's where I'm most frustrated. And you can't be mad at Mark Lazary for selling it to him because you got to get what you can get. I may hate Charlie, but if Charlie gives me the best offer on my house, I'm going to take it. Nice doing business with you, dude. Enjoy it. And I drive by the house a year later and he's ripped off one wall, destroyed the front yard, completely destroyed everything. And then it's like, what did I do? But you gave me the most money. I got to take the most money.
Wes Edens, who's still living in that house too, in his own room, just doing his own thing, and he's not stopping him from destroying the house around him.
To me, he's already house shopping himself, trying to get the hell out of here. To me, that's what it looks like to me outside looking in. It doesn't look like he's really in. It looks like he's like, whatever you want to do, Jimmy, do your thing. I'm getting out of here. Do what you want to do, buddy. I don't, because again, he's been through the stress. He's been through the arguments. He's been through everything. All the battles him and Mark Lazary used to have back in the day. Poor Peter Fagan. All the stuff that all of those guys went through over the course of time. He's been through all of it. And now probably just worn down, tired, and is like, do your thing, Jimmy. You got all this extra energy. How God knows how you do at your age, but do what you think is best.
My daughter do the draft lottery. That's good enough.
Which was fine. Yeah, who cares who does the draft lottery? But that's what I'm most mad about, most angry about, that you have an owner that has no idea how to win. And not only does he have no idea how to win, but then on top of it, everything else he wants to meddle. Again, it's Herb Cole all over again. One big difference. Herb Cole loved the organization, loved the team, and wanted only the best for the team. Herb Cole wasn't a cheapskate. Herb Cole, in different years like that, Tim Thomas, Ray Allen, Glenn Robinson, Sam Cassell, paying George Karl, highest paid coach in sports, George Karl. Ernie Grunfeld was making a ton of money as GM. Herb Cole spent when he had to spend. The problem they had was simply they couldn't put it all together because they never got that dude. Never got that dude at the top of the food chain. Never got lucky in the draft to get Shaq or to get somebody like that or LeBron. Never got that draft. Got the Boga draft and the Big Dog draft. Big Dog was legitimately number one, whatever. That's fine. And Bogut was the best of what was there at that time.
He was pretty damn good for a while until he got hurt. Yeah,
but not Shaq.
No,
not Giannis.
No,
you didn't.
But he was
the
guy that you could hope could be a part of a championship team and be an important part of a championship team, which he was later in his career.
Correct. But Herb, that's on who Herb was. I'll say something else. And again, Herb Cole and I had many back and forths over the course of time. But guarantee you, if Herb Cole owned the Milwaukee Brewers and was getting $330 million in revenue or whatever else, I guarantee you that roster would have way more payroll invested in it than what it currently does with Mark. And I'm not here to bash Mark. Y'all can run your organizations however the heck you want to run your organizations. But I know if Herb had all that money, he would have been investing probably way more of it back into that payroll to try and win a World Series at the end of the day. Now, he may have meddled. Mark has been known to meddle as well. He may have meddled and screwed things up at certain points and so forth, but he would have put more into it.
Well, at least you would have known it's out of the need and want to win a championship and actually be a part of the team that he owns and is funneling money into.
If Jimmy Haslam said, dude, I'm staying in Cleveland. I'm a silent partner. Do what the hell, do what you want. Wes, you run the organization. You do the things. Let me know what's going on. Any major moves. I'm out. I'm just going to be over here and screw my NFL team. That would be the best news possible. Like, you don't have to come to Milwaukee ever. You can just stay there. We'll Zoom you in for a press conference if need be and stay far, far away. You can be involved. You can be part owner, all that, but we're going to make the changes. That, to me, that'd be best case. Wes Edens, you make all the decisions. You're the governor going forward for the rest of time. Jimmy's got all the money invested in it, and that's fine. And we move from that standpoint.
That's just never going to happen.
No, instead,
it's never part of the deal.
Instead, it's going to be all Jimmy all the time. And
kind of like I talked about with Herb
I don't
Cole.
know how you possibly can get excited knowing that's the case.
I think Jimmy Haslam likes running his teams. I think he has fun and loves
like
running
Jerry
these teams.
Jones.
But he's just an idiot.
Yes.
That's what it seems like, is that he has no idea how to do it. He's playing it like Madden, like it's 2K. And I can appreciate that he actually wants to be involved and wants to actually operate the team that he's putting money into. But, dude, you got to at least back up when you see that you're making bad decision after bad decision.
Some point know who you are. And the fact, and I think what it is,
it's not worth losing money, too.
Dude,
what's the point?
That's the difference. He doesn't care. He has so much money. He does not care if he loses money. That's something you'll never understand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you win some gigantic lottery, but that's something you're never going to understand. I'm way old. I'm never going to know what that feels like at the end of the day. When you're his age and you have that type of money, like, there goes 50 million. Whatever. No, there goes 25. Whatever. When you can get to that point in life, God bless him. When you can get to that point in life, yeah, it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Give me some money then, man. If that's what you want to do, I'll take some.
Anthony Muskego, you're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily. What's up, Anthony?
What's going on, Spark? You know, as far as Jimmy Haslam, I think the writing's on the wall that eventually he's going to end up buying out Wes Edens, and it's going to be his team. It seems like even though Edens is allegedly the controlling owner right now, it seems it seems like he's in the driver's seat. Yep. Yeah, I'm with you on that. But, you know, as far as the whole Giannis scenario, you know, it's obviously sad to see him go. There's been a lot of buildup on this, but, you know, I just think what makes it kind of tougher for me, and, you know, seeing guys like Marzion literally crying on Twitter. I mean, the fact is, the guy, if the Bucks had the opportunity, they would have signed him super maxes until he retired. He wanted to leave. Whether he's right or wrong, where he thinks he can compete here or not, he wanted to leave. Where I have a problem with it is how continuously he's giving the media and social media the lip service, and then meanwhile, behind the scenes, he's trying to set up his exit and save face and not look like he's the guy who's forcing his way out.
Yep.
You know, what's disappointing is that as great of a guy as Giannis has been and as great as he was for the Bucks organization, there's no taking that away from him. But in the end, I think a lot of people thought that he was a different kind of superstar. And in the end, is he? I don't think so, because he forced his way out. When times got tough, he decided he was going to leave. And you know what? Good luck to him. I won't be rooting for him on the Heat. I hate the Miami Heat. I'm like you said, I'm not rooting for injury or anything like that, but I'm a Bucks fan, number one. And the fact is, he left us. He deserted the team. He brought a lot to the team. We got a lot to give him credit for, but it kind of goes back to, the wheels came off when Dame blew his Achilles out. But the fact of the matter is, if Giannis would have been willing to accept the fact of, all right, this is going to be a gap year. We got to have Dame get healthy. We're going to see what we have in these young pieces. We're going to get the cap right. And then coming this summer, we'd be in a totally different position where, all right, Dame's coming off injury, but he's healthy. Plus, we would have 3 tradable first-round picks to bring in yet another piece to come play with those guys and make a run next year. He was unwilling to do that, and yet he's willing to go to Miami, where now they gutted their roster short of Bam Adebayo and Andrew Wiggins and a couple role players that really aren't that great, to be honest with you. They don't have much shooting there. It's going to be a great defensive team, but that team is not competing. That team, I'm sorry, they're not beating the Knicks next year. They're not competing and beating any of these top teams in the West, the Thunder or the Spurs. That team's going to have to build out a roster now. So you know what? They'll be a playoff team, but that team's not playing in the NBA Finals next year. So it wasn't, if he would have went to Boston and he's playing with Jason Tatum, if he would have went to the Timberwolves and he's playing with Anthony Edwards, I see the path for immediate contention. I don't see it in Miami, so I don't see how the grass is really greener going there. But good luck to you, Giannis, and thanks, I guess.
Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. The Heat do have things that they can do from a financial aspect to bring in players to put around him. Then Pat Riley is going to have to work his magic, essentially, to convince guys to come there and play and chase a ring with Giannis. And I promise you, it's going to be a lot easier to do in Miami and South Beach than it is to do in Milwaukee, to go ring chasing with Giannis in Milwaukee. Guarantee. You can go play in South Beach in November, December, or do you want to go play and drive around in the snow in Milwaukee, Wisconsin? Come on, man. I mean, he's going to get guys that are going to go play with Giannis because it's South Beach. They did not come to Milwaukee because they didn't want to play with Giannis. Where do you want to live in the wintertime? It's not the baseball season where the Brewers get beautiful summer weather and all of that. It's still the winter in Milwaukee or in Wisconsin. Again, that's what makes it so bad. So now what's going to happen for the Bucks? Oh, we're going to have all this money. Okay, good. You have all this money. What's going to have to happen? Now you're going to be paying bad team taxes like you did to Gooden, like you did to Salmons and a lot of these other guys. Oh, yeah, I'll come and play there if you overpay me significantly from what every other good team wants to pay me. Then I'll come play there. You're going to be back in that scenario again where we've been already playing marginal players like they're good players. Or they were good for 2 months, so let's buy all in and think they're going to be fine for the next 5 years. Ay. Jeff in Greendale, you're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily with me, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, good afternoon, Sparky. Hey, I'm just making a different point of view of things. I'm not here to change anyone's mind or say not to be angry. I'm right with you. Anyone's feelings is their feelings, and there's nothing wrong with them. So I'm 100% on it. I'm at the point of I'm glad this whole stuff is over. I was tired of hearing about it, just like you and everyone else was. Be honest, my where I wanted to come from before I can make my quick point here was I was hoping a 3-team trade because I just didn't think Miami had the assets, of what we were hearing about, meaning from Boston to Miami. I really was hoping there would have been a 3-team deal, but it sounds like that wasn't going to be an option.
Well, I mean, Jeff, but Jeff, hold on.
Yeah.
This can't be official till July 6th. So if they work a Tyler Hero deal tonight, that can be put into this deal to make it a 3-team deal. If they do another deal, them or Miami, that could make it a 4-team deal. Like this deal can continue to grow into one gigantic deal before you get to July 6th. Okay.
And hey, you know what? That might look good in the end yet, for us. Not saying super, but we'll just wait and see.
Yep.
But from the initial reaction, I get everyone's view, and I'm not disagreeing with them. For me, I guess I'm just putting this out there for you, Spark, because to see if this will help not be as mad. When I look at it this perspective, since I've had time to kind of look it over, these are just the salaries for Brown. Let's just say he came here. So I'm saying from the perspective of Jalen comes here. 57 and 58, meaning Brown and Giannis 58. Next year's option, if he sticks around, Giannis, 62 and 61. That's just two players of what we got to pay and try to put people around them. Then let's say now if Giannis goes up and leaves, now we're stuck with Brown. Does Brown want to stick around? Then we got to trade him. So we get nothing for Giannis. And this is me just thinking out loud. We get nothing for Giannis. And now we got Jaylen Brown here, who's probably not going to be happy because he's not playing.
You never would have been
Giannis.
able. You can't get Jaylen Brown without giving up Giannis. Like there's no way you were going to be able to pull that one off.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, 62, 64. I'm sorry, comparing them. My fault. Yes, yeah. I didn't mean that part. Yeah. So you're looking at the salaries being the same. That we're not losing much, but we're not gaining anything from the standpoint of putting people around.
Well, you would have been in a situation as well going into July where he is eligible, Brown is, for a 2-year extension at about $139 million, about $70 million a year. You could have extended for 2 more. So you would have had him for 5 years under contract if that's something that he, wanted to be a part of or wanted to do. And I understand that the side of this is, well, it's Milwaukee and he'll want to leave and he'll get frustrated and want to go somewhere else. But based on what they were saying yesterday, Brian Windhorst and others, he wants to be the guy. He wants to have his own team and he wants to lead them to, go win something. So you never even gave it an opportunity to get there because of what happened with Myles Garrett, according to the report in Cleveland.
Sure. And again, I'm not disagreeing with it all. And with it, I guess I'm looking at the perspective of taking the same points that people are saying and looking at it with Jaylen and just saying, okay, he's gone. Now we're looking at 57. This is Jaylen Brown, excuse me. 57, 61, 64 without the extension.
Yep.
Then you're going from 64 to 2 years of 70. And now we're looking at what is this guy going to be here? What can we have added? What young stars can we put around Jaylen? So we're going to sit at the same thing, with the exception. So I say all that, Spark, just to say it's not, again, everyone has their way of how they want to look at it, and they're not wrong.
So how do you look at it now? What's your view of what they did now going forward?
Sure. I think going forward, of the two, I think I'm slightly better. I was not happy with neither, to be honest.
Right.
But I will say I like the fact that this is a little better from the standpoint of younger guys and I don't care about those 30 picks like you guys mentioned before. It's who knows where players are going to be, what teams are going to be at that point.
Yep.
But if like I said, if Giannis, let's say, only makes it a couple of years just because of the wear and tear, and I'm not hoping it either. I'm just being realistic of how he's been, how his body's been. Let's say you get a couple of years out of him. Miami's now not going to be in the best of place. Those picks can look pretty good here in a few years.
Sure.
Who knows?
It could.
And then, so I guess I'm looking at it. I'll take this one. Not that I wasn't going to be against totally on that Boston trade, because you made good points on them. At the same point, I'm looking at it going, Miami one seems to be the best one, but I still think there's other stuff coming. I still think Miles Turner's gone, in my opinion, based off what I'm reading.
All right.
I think he's gone.
Sounds good. Thanks for the call, Jeff. I appreciate it. This is essentially pretty much how Portland felt on the Lillard deal. But we're pretty much living Portland fans' nightmare that they lived through when Lillard ended up in Milwaukee. Lillard wanted to go to Miami too. You remember that much? Mm-hmm. Does Lillard eventually end up back in Miami where he wanted to be once he gets to free agency?
Portland pivot after maybe striking out on the couple of big stars that they were thinking about going on?
No. I would imagine they'll try for Kawhi or they'll try for Trey Murphy.
Do they pivot if they strike out on all of those?
Nah. They're not going to just trade Lillard. He means too much to that community. He was like a coach on the bench last year when he was recovering from injury.
Care?
That owner has spent money in the NHL, yes.
I know, but the way he's acted this entire postseason, this past year and offseason.
I hear you. I mean, I'm not as down on that dude as everybody else is. I get he looks like a complete cheapskate, but his NHL resume says he's not, as far as putting money in the payroll. Ram, north side of Milwaukee. You're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily with me, Steve Sparky Fiver. What's up, Ram?
Well, Sparky, the inevitable happened, but, we'll say this. When you look at Miami and the Bucks, and you look at the front office, there's no comparison. So the aura around Pat Riley, not just because of Miami, but being able to do deals, John Horst ain't got that. He just ain't got that. He fumbled on the Lillard trade. which I keep saying because Lillard did not want to come here. So he was kind of lost after Drew left. And then the worst part about it, when Drew he was traded, he go to another team and he win a title. You remember that?
Yeah, as like the fourth option on that team.
Yeah. So
which he never would have been in Milwaukee.
No. But that team was pretty stacked. That was a pretty nice team, and they needed a point guard at his level. So I don't downplay he's just that. No, he's still a pro, and he still helped them win throughout that season. That was a solid season they had.
Right, but if that deal doesn't happen, does Drew win a championship with Milwaukee if they don't do that deal with Middleton at the end of his career and Giannis getting hurt in one of the 2 years?
Well, what you do is you try to course and get somebody else to come here. That's all. I mean, they paid Middleton too much money, number one.
Sure.
Way too much money. That's another fumble on John Horst. So he's paying the wrong people money when there was good people that was out there that we probably could have got to come here.
Ram, again, you're rolling with Middleton, not because he sucks, but because he's guys with Giannis. He was guys with Giannis.
You know what? I'm going to say this as a coach, trainer. I'm not letting players dictate or capitulate what my decision. If it gets to that point, you remember when LeBron wanted Eric Spoelstra fired and Pat Riley traded him?
Yep.
That's where it's supposed to go. So I always thought leadership is top down as military. Players don't tell coaches what to do or owners what to do.
That's where we are in sports today, especially in the NBA. So? That's where we are, Ram. Thanks for the call. I'm not saying it's right. I don't disagree with you, but that's where we're at. CB, downtown Milwaukee. You're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily. What's up, CB?
What's going on, man? Everybody's up in the uproar. I love the deal. It trims off the fat bars with the money. Now they need to work on to get Kuzma up out of here, and the Bucks just need to just start over, man. It was a time where everybody knew it was going to happen and come, so everybody's up in the uproar. You don't need to be. Just let them work and see what they do, and don't criticize them. Let them see what they're going to do first. Then you can, jump down on their throat after maybe 5 or 6 years.
CB, how long have you listened to me?
I've been listening to you a long time.
When have you ever known me? When have you ever known me not to criticize something?
Well, this time, man, you just got to just let the pieces fall where they may, man, and just see what happens. Yeah. I know everybody don't like the owner. They don't like Hurst and all that
I'll tell you how this is going to play out, CB. You're not going to worry about criticism because ain't nobody going to be talking about him on the radio going forward if they lose. That's what's going to happen.
They weren't talking about him now, but Giannis hurt. That's all you heard. Yep. As far as everybody talking, he hurt all the time. He can't do this. Can't do that.
No, but I mean, nationally, nobody's going to talk about him. They're dead to everybody nationally, which is fine. You don't have to worry about Stephen A. Smith talking about him. You don't have to worry about Sharania talking about him anymore. All that's dead. Windhorst, none of them will talk about the Bucks going forward. It's just not going to happen unless they get a star in a draft or something and Giannis is hurt, and then they revisit and go, oh boy, now you look at it, this Bucks deal is great, and then that star brings them back on the national scene. Maybe then you get it.
Miami ain't going to win nothing either. Miami, they can do all they just trying to do is put a Band-Aid on something.
I hear you.
Ain't nothing going to happen with that either.
All right, CB, we got to roll. We got to get to a quick timeout. Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. Great recommendation on the Nicolay Law Talking text line, suggesting that Giannis mural should get painted over. 1,000%. Absolutely. See ya, Giannis mural. That should be Miz. Put Miz up on that wall. Put Cheerio up on that wall. Put both of them up on that wall. I don't really care. Put one of the Brewer players up on that wall, paint over Giannis. In the break, Charlie's like, well, what if when he comes back? It's fine. When he's old and gray-haired and you want to put something up of him back then or at that point, whatever, fine. It's all done. When you put his statue up, then you can put the mural up. And that's the other thing. Y'all better not build this dude a statue until he's retired. Not while he's playing for another team. None of that stuff. I don't want, we're putting up a statue as the Bucks play the Heat tonight. No. That better not happen. That's all I'm going to say to that. That better not happen. Coming up next, Charlie's Sounds of the Day. Then Gary Wolfel will join us at 4:20. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
It's so sad.
Dude, I'm
when I changed the screen, just looking at you, it was so depressed.
No, there's nothing to be happy about. Sparky here, Charlie Usen over there, broadcasting live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Coming up this hour, we get you ready for the leadoff show with Tommy Wirtz coming up from 5 until 6, getting ready for Game 2, Brewers and Reds. Then it's the Pro Hoops Draft Show with Brandon Snide and Brian Butch, the former Badger center, from 6 until the time that Brewers game is over, or 9 o'clock, somewhere in that area. And then Tim and Tommy on the air with the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show until 11 o'clock. So we've got live local radio from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. today. Hope y'all are enjoying it. Some of you are probably like, dude, Sparky, you're killing me with this negativity. You're absolutely killing me.
Those are all things to be happy about, right?
About what?
Those shows. You know, the leadoff show, that always makes me happy. I love hearing Tommy. I'm excited for the Pro Hoops Draft Show. Going to get some cool perspective from Brian Butch. I get to be here and witness that. It's going to be cool.
It'll be great programming.
Yeah, so that's all things to be happy about, Sparky. Look forward to that today. Come on.
No, I agree with you. That'll be great. That draft show, again, is going to become the bloodline of this organization, because that's going to be the only way you're going to be able to add any type of significant real talent, because you're not going to do it in free agency probably. So that's it. And next year, you don't have a first-round pick. So
for now,
literally, you're going to probably need to make hay now while you can. And there's still no guarantee you're going to get a star player out of this draft, but you got to figure out the best way you can do it. Again, wouldn't want to be John Horst in this situation. Hell, I wouldn't want to have been John Horst for the last 3 to 5 years, if we're being honest, with everything going on with Giannis behind the scenes, ownership change, everything else. Like, no, thanks. No, thank you. I passed. Did you see he was playing pickleball at Summerfest last week?
He needed a little bit
of a break. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that. He needed a little bit of a break, Sparky.
Playing pickleball. Gary Wolfel, WolfelsPressBox.com, comes up at 4:20, and I think Sparky missed at 4:40. Normally we do this at 3:40, but we pushed it back to 4 o'clock, and here we go.
1, 2, 3. What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, Charlie Usen, where are we going?
All right, first up, we're going to head on over to Run It Back. It'll be the first of 3 clips where we'll be talking about the Giannis trade outcome from 3 other perspectives outside of the Milwaukee Bucks directly. This first perspective, like I said, is from Run It Back and Boogie Cousins, and they were talking about Taylor Jenkins and how his situation changes as the Bucks head coach now.
Now we know why Taylor Jenkins took this job, right? I guarantee you there was this conversation saying, look, we are going to move Giannis. We are going to get some assets back. Like, trust me, this isn't going to be the worst situation that you're coming to. So now that this happened, I'm just saying, at least he's got talent. At least he's got assets. At least he's all the drama.
He can mold it into his vision.
I've never seen anybody excited to lose with talent. I've never seen that.
No, but what we're saying is it's not ground zero though. It's not Boogie. It's not ground zero.
It is.
No, you can't tell me 3. You went out and got 3 guys that's been starting. You go in and got an all-star. You got a lottery pick. You got things to build on, Boogie. That ain't ground zero.
Yeah. When it comes to being excited about the rebuild, absolutely, they're exactly where they're supposed to be. Taylor Jenkins being a playoff coach, a coach that's had a pretty good career so far, to now start his season with a losing team, I don't think anybody's excited for that. Like, the rebuild, yes, everything's going the way it's supposed to, but he's not walking into a building with some exciting team. This is a year.
But we knew.
But they could have went. But listen, he could have came into a team that got rid of Giannis and just had a bunch of young players and assets for the future. He got He got some guys that's been able to win in this league.
Y'all are crazy. Never thought I'd get to the day where I'm agreeing with Boogie Cousins, but here we are.
I think that's the second time in 2 weeks.
Yep, and that just tells you my negativity level is going through the roof right now when I start agreeing with Cousins. But again, Tyler Hero, expiring contract. Hawkins Jr., expiring contract. Khalil Ware, not expiring. Casper the Ghost, you got him for 3 more years, I think it is. And again, to everybody that says, "Oh boy, had to have him." Wait, who is he? Like, who is this dude? Like,
apparently he's like the Bucks had to have him in this trade.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what they say.
That's what I want to know from the Bucks. Like, who do you think this dude is exactly? You think he's the next Steve Francis? You think he's the next, I don't know. Who else could it be? He's the next Steve Nash? You think he's the next Marbury? The next Iverson? Like, who do you think this dude is? Do you know who I think this dude is? I think he's a nice role player. That's who I think this dude's going to be. A nice role player. He ain't going to be a superstar point guard that we have to have. Like, that to me, I don't understand that whole we have to have at all. And then Charlie and I are getting into it earlier off the air about, Boston this, Boston that. You're going to play sound here. And then you'll hear it all come to the air, what Charlie and I were arguing about earlier about Boston. Go ahead.
All right. So from the Boston Celtics point of view, this is Shams Charania breaking down the
No, not this dude. No, I'm Xing him out. We're not
Why?
listening.
You don't want to listen to this?
No.
Come on.
No more.
It's good.
No, I'm not listening to this dude
at
anymore.
all?
On this show, no more.
He's with
Don't
No
care.
Name? He's on the banned list?
Oh, I'll play No Name audio if he starts playing. I don't have anything personal against him other than I'm not going to talk about somebody that can't stay on the field.
What if there's other big
This
NBA
dude,
news?
I've heard enough of this dude for the rest of my life. No more.
Fine. We'll hear from Nick Wright instead, somebody
Fine.
else that you also like. He thinks the Heat are only marginally better than last year compared to last year now.
I agree. Giannis is closer than he would have been if he'd stayed in Milwaukee. I'm not sure that Miami is much closer than they were last year, which sounds like what we're saying. Like they have been living in the play-in. To me, I think.
Do you think they?
No,
I think they should have done it.
I
get
understand why they did it because there's only 5 or 6 people in the world like him. It's the hardest thing to get, so you go get it and fill it out from there. But as far as the Miami Heat projections, where they were last year versus where they are this year, I think they are only marginally better.
Pay him a lot of money to be on TV. You added Giannis, and you think a team is marginally better. You gave up Hero, Jaquez, Ware, and Casper, and you're thinking they're marginally better? What are we doing? That's the first point. Second point, I'm not done. The second point, Pat Riley is running the show there. Pat Riley will put more talent on that team. He will build a roster that's competitive more than it is right now. He's not senile. He knows what he has and what he has to fix, and he'll fix it, and they'll be good. Will they be good enough to come out of the East? I don't know, but they're certainly going to be more than a play-in tournament team next year, unless Giannis gets hurt. Then, yeah, maybe they're a play-in tournament team. But to say they're marginally better with Giannis over Tyler Hero and Jaquez and the rest of these guys, come on, man. I mean, understand who he is. Go look at Giannis' numbers last year in the half games he played in the season. He put up monster numbers when he was out there playing. Monster. And you're telling me he's only going to get better. And I understand Bam and Giannis and how that whole thing is going to work. That ain't our problem. That's Bolster's problem. Kid genius. So he's got to figure that out. And you know what? I think he is a kid genius. So I think he is possible that he will figure out how to make this work on offense and defensively. Good luck getting to the rim between those two.
Right. It's going to be the best defensive team in basketball, most likely. I also noticed from kind of the bigger media so far since this whole thing has heated up and gotten to this point with Giannis in the trade market, we talk about the large media not liking Milwaukee. I don't think they like Giannis very much either for some reason. I don't know if it's because he chose to stay in Milwaukee for so long. He lasted so long here too. But there's so many people that are talking like this, like Nick Wright, who are coming out and saying, oh, the Heat aren't better for this. The Boston Celtics wouldn't be any better than they were if they had Giannis. Like, he's not one of the top 6 players in the league when he's healthy. And this past season, the season before that, when he's averaging 30 points per game when he's healthy, you're just going to completely ignore that. Like, he's not one of the best defensive players of this era of basketball. Like, these are all egregious things that you're just leaving out when talking about Giannis going to these new teams.
I thankfully do not watch that show. Does he like the NBA? Like, does he have a team?
Not really. He's definitely more like the whole show is so football focused that like they really only kind of talk about basketball stuff when it's big news.
So he very well may not even have an NBA team. So you can't even go to Nick Wright and be like, "Hey, dude, if Giannis was
fan, if Giannis probably a Lakers fan, then too would be my guess. That's just kind of goes hand in hand."
What?
You didn't? That's It's like Chiefs, Lakers, Dodgers. Like you just like the champions. Like that seems like his kind of vibe.
Oh, I see what you got. Okay, fine. My thing is like if that was Danny Parkins saying that nonsense, and Parkins actually didn't say crazy stuff. I don't
he
think.
said he had like a 5-minute long clip saying how he feels bad for Milwaukee and how he feels bad
I
for
watched
how
like
this ended.
20 seconds, got nauseous from watching him and turned it off. But this is the thing. If you don't have an NBA team and you don't have a rooting interest and you don't watch the NBA a whole bunch to really know the impact or how a guy weighs on a game when he's on the floor, and you're just looking for flash and jumpers and all this other stuff and thinking, he should be playing like Kevin Durant, which he is not Kevin Durant. He is Giannis. There is only one of him. There's not a comparable to Giannis. He's not KG. He's not Shaq. He's Giannis. And I promise you, his weight on a game is much, much heavier than what anybody is giving him credit for in the national media. And if that was Parkins, it would be, hey, dude, how much better you think the Bulls would be if Giannis was on the team? Do you think Danny Parkins would go, marginally?
I think Danny Parkins would be pretty damn excited.
Danny Parkins would be on the table dancing, praising the Lord.
I've seen him do that for one Bears win over the Packers in a playoff game.
And he would do it if they got Giannis. Like that type of stuff just whatever. I'm not paying their salaries. That's just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely nonsense. Okay, coming up, do you have any other Bucks?
I can play the Bill Simmons one that you had me grab.
Sure.
This is Bill Simmons on the Bill Simmons
Not
podcast.
that I like Bill Simmons, but
reacting to the Giannis trade and his thoughts on it all.
Like, what do you tell your 9-year-old Bucks fan son? Hey, we traded Giannis. What did we get? Well, we got all the other guys on a 43-win team that aren't Bam, and we got some picks really starting 4 years from now, and we got the 13th pick in a 8 or 9 player draft. And then after that, you keep your fingers crossed. With that said, they did get a lot of stuff. And I think one of the keys, and the thing we kept hearing the last day and a half was that Milwaukee was really split on the offers. That there was the front office really wanted this Miami offer, and the owners were split on, should we just get Jaylen Brown? Like he's one of the 12 best guys in the league. We could either keep him or we could flip him. Like he's a dollar. We're just getting all of these quarters and dimes from Miami. And I think ultimately this proves yet again that front offices love nothing more than trades that can keep themselves in power for a few years.
Yeah.
This is the perfect trade if you're John Horst and his team and you already got rid of Doc Rivers. You don't really know where you are. This Giannis thing has been paralyzing you for over a year. And now you can be like, hey, we're rebuilding. We have picks. We have stuff. We have pieces. I don't know what this is, but I know I'm not going to get fired anytime soon because this is a mess. Whereas if you get Jaylen, I think there's slightly different expectations.
I would be willing to gamble. There is zero chance that John Horst sees the end of this package with picks. But almost zero chance. They have picks in 2033, 2030, and 2031. That means Horst has to survive, 4 seasons before he gets the pick swap in 30? 5 seasons before he gets to the first round pick in 2031. I'm willing to bet you he will not be the GM making that first round pick. That's Miami's in 2031. He will not be here. I don't know what team he'll be working for or if he'll be doing TV or what his job is going to be. He will not still be here by 2031.
Well,
no chance.
You bring up whatever team he's going to be working for. I think to Bill Simmons' point here, this kind of is, even though it's not a good scenario for John Horst, maybe the best case scenario, because you can just say, look at all these other people fighting in front of me that had to make this decision in front of me. Like, I didn't have anything to do with this. He doesn't have to be the scapegoat of the situation when everybody knows Jimmy Haslam had his hands all over this, when they know that Peter Fagan leaves and all this other stuff is going down. Like he's the guy at the bottom of the totem pole, and people recognize that.
The best case scenario was he gets that Pistons job. He's not here for this fiasco.
True. Yeah, not here for this.
And now he's a part of building that, and he's not in the middle of this mess. Instead, they forced him to be in the middle of the mess, and now he's stuck. And what he built with that championship, he'll always have. He'll always have a championship ring. He'll always have that. But now he's about to soil all over it because of what he got given by Jimmy Haslam and the Bucks ownership group of, here you go. Now let's go destroy your legacy.
It's on Jimmy Haslam and the Bucks ownership group's hands. It's not on him.
For us, here.
I don't know.
Nationally, they're going to talk about Horst making the deal, what
think
picks he used
other
for those
teams
deals.
with better ownership groups or better owners that understand the game more will recognize that this isn't his fault.
We'll see. We'll see how he's remembered when this whole thing is said and done. Again, hopefully he gets lucky. Hopefully tonight he gets 2 superstars at 10 and 13, and it's like, Sparky, you're a complete moron.
He's got a job for the rest of his life with the Bucks.
We proved it again. This deal was unbelievable. They got 2 studs in that draft. You said there were no studs at 10 and 13. They got 2 of them. Now, again, if somebody falls, if Brown falls, hey, okay, he could be a stud. I think that's possible. If somebody falls, great. But if we're sitting at 10 and 13 and the top 9 go as expected, you're going to get 2 players. Potential starters, rotational players, superstars. You have to work hard to look at guys and go, Kareem Lopez, where? How is he a superstar? Like athletically, like everything. How does he get there? Mara, stop. There's no chance that's happening.
Played a pretty good rookie season.
Pretty good, right? And you very well may get 2 pretty good rookie seasons from whoever you drafted 10 and 13, which is great.
You could.
But if the end goal is to get back to a finals and win a championship, a long ways away. Charlie, use it over there. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer here up next. Gary Wolf of Wolf'sPressBox.com. Straight ahead here on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Don't forget, speaking of the Potawatomi Sportsbook, probably a good place to go watch the draft tonight. I know they're taking wagers on who's going where and what picks you can bet on and all this other fun stuff. Go on down there, 2,000 square feet, center screen, over 30 different sporting events you can watch at one time. 2 different levels. Reserve your seat ahead of time by simply going to Potawatomi.com. And that Potawatomi Sportsbook kitchen is amazing. Homemade desserts and pastries each and every day at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee. Plus, you can have your build your own burger, all day brunch with steak and egg bagels, pancakes, you name it. They've got it there. Plus, they got wraps, they got salads, everything you could potentially want. And if you like beer, over 40 different beers on tap there as well, and a dozen or so specialty cocktails that you can order too at the Potawatomi Sportsbook Kitchen. Check them out today. Go to Potawatomi.com. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. See Sparky Fiber with you. Don't forget, if you are hurt in a car accident, Habish, and Rotier. It's really that simple. National reputation, hometown service. 13 locations around the beautiful state of Wisconsin. You're listening to us on the game in Wausau. We're there. How about WNFL in Green Bay and the Appleton and Fox Valley area? Yeah, Habish, Rotier, they're there too. Yeah, absolutely. How about on the Fan in Madison? Yeah, in Madison too. Habish, Rotier are there as well. And of course, the Fan in Milwaukee, southeastern Wisconsin, scattered all over southeastern Wisconsin. Find all those locations again by going to habish.com. When you are hurt in a car accident, especially when it's badly, and you're going to see a doctor or you're in the hospital, lots of things go through your head. Sleepless nights, all of that stuff. You need that peace of mind. Go to the best. There's only one best. That is Habish, and Rotier. That's how they got the national reputation, for winning, for having safety laws created from lawsuits that they've won, and the state changing laws. And the hometown service, that's all about you. That's about making you feel comfortable and believing that they're going to go do everything in their power to make sure you get what you rightfully deserve. There is a care factor that goes along with this. Check them out again today. Habish, and Rotier, national reputation, hometown service. Check them out at habish.com. Joining us now, he is Gary Woelfel of WoelfelsPressBox.com. Gary, thank you so much for coming on. Follow him on X at Gary Woelfel. It is draft day. We have not done this in a minute on a draft day, but here we are. Let's go.
I am always ready to go with you, Sparky.
So first off, I want to say that you're the one that had this thing out in front of the Miami package, pretty much the base of it and what it was going to be back on May 21st. And you were out in front on everybody on this, and this is exactly kind of how it all played out.
Yeah, I had some help along the way, like, every reporter does. And, it was interesting, though. I really thought, though, at the end, Boston was going to sneak in until I looked at Jaylen Brown's contract, 3 years and $180 million, right? And I go, he's not coming to Milwaukee. No way. They're not going to break the bank for Jaylen Brown going through a rebuild, basically. So, but that Miami deal was very interesting.
So, you tell me, you've lived through the Herb Cole years. You've lived through 15-win seasons and everything else with the Bucks. You and I, for years, having the draft lottery be Christmas time for Bucks fans, and then hoping and praying that some guy named Richard Bob Mute pans out when you already got Joe Alexander the round previously, and prior to that, earlier in the day, traded for Richard Jefferson. But hell, let's draft another small forward to go along with the two small forwards we already have. We've been through all that. Brandon Jennings getting drafted and me being super excited and all of that. I mean, you sit here.
You were the president of the Brandon Jennings fan club. I remember that vividly.
Very much was.
And for a while, you looked really good for a while there.
That's who I wanted going into that night, and they actually drafted who I wanted, which was rare back in the day. That they took who I wanted, and I was super excited. Had the kid in play haircut, the whole deal going on. Okay, so let's talk about this draft now.
Hey, but can I interrupt you 1 second though? Yeah. I know what a deep Bucks fan you are. The other day, I did a podcast with Mike Dunleavy Sr.
Yep.
And you got to listen to it. I'm telling you, it was unbelievable. He dropped bomb after bomb after bomb. And one of the things he was telling me about was Kobe Bryant almost became a Buck. You ever hear that?
Why do you want to crush me for? Don't you think I've been kicked enough over this Giannis deal? Why now do you want to just make sure to finish me at this moment?
But it was incredible. I don't want to take too much time on our interview talking about this, but that was the year Ray Allen was in the draft, right? And they made the trade to with Marbury involved.
They were throwing stuff at Dunleavy when they made that trade.
Exactly.
At the Bradley Center. The fans were so mad they were throwing stuff at Dunleavy.
It was unbelievable. I was ready to throw things at because I was a big Marbury fan at the time, but Ray Allen was obviously an ace conflict. But Mike told me on this podcast, he went to Herb Cole like a week before the draft, said, hey, I want to draft Kobe Bryant, after telling him for like 4 months he wanted Ray Allen, okay? So Herb agrees. Dunleavy goes and makes 3 separate deals where he would get the 8th overall pick. He would drop down like 4 spots or whatever it was, 5 spots. Get this. And then he was going to take Bryant at number 8, right? in addition to getting Kobe Bryant, he would have got 3 first-round picks the following year. Can you imagine that? Kobe Bryant plus 3 first-round picks in the trades plus their own, So everything was looking good. But then Arn Tellem, I'm sure you're aware of Arn
Long-time agent. Yep.
Yep. He represented Kobe Bryant, and he happened to be really, really good friends with Jerry West. And he was on a mission to get Kobe Bryant to the Lakers. So he would not grant Kobe permission to work out for the Bucks. And after he didn't work out for the Bucks, Herb said no dice.
See, that's all the Bucks need. They just need AJ DeBonsta's dad to be on a mission to get him to Milwaukee at 10, and the Bucks can get him at 10 tonight and draft DeBonsta. DeBonsta, who does not have an agent and is being represented by his father at the number 1 overall pick tonight. that is a whole nother story in and of itself. I'm talking with Gary Wolfel, wolfelspressbox.com. Check him out at Gary Wolfel on X. 10 and 13. From what you're hearing, do they stay pat? Do they take picks there? Do you think they package and move up? Is there a chance they take one of them and move back for additional picks? How do you think this goes?
Well, I mean, I really don't know at this point. I do know that they really like Akoff, but who doesn't? Akoff could be something special.
Yep.
I would take him in the top 4. The hell with, whoever else is there. And they like Mikel Brown from Louisville.
I like both.
And yeah, so from what I'm hearing is they would like to move up to 5 or 6 to get one of those guys because Akoff's not going to get Sacramento. That's his floor. So, that would be one possibility. If they, if the odds are they'll end up staying at 10 and 13, which isn't bad at all, really.
So, Acuff and the Kings apparently want each other. So we'll see if that marriage gets made or not. The other part of this is I'm shocked that there have not been any trades really going on today. Like normally by this point, we start getting a couple hours of the draft. We've already had 2 or 3 draft day trades made. People are moving and shaking and stuff's going on. It's been awfully, awfully quiet on the trade front, Gary.
Yeah, and I think there's a reason for it. I don't think there's going to be much activity in the top 10. I might be wrong. There might be 1 trade or 2 trade, but it seems like most of these teams are locked in with 1 or 2 players, So from a trade standpoint, I don't see much action at the top unless the Bucks can somehow, put together a package. Let's say they gave 10 and Turner to the Clippers, okay? I think that'd be a great trade for both teams. I really do. They want a center, the Clippers. The Bucks want Akoff, and they get 10. They can get Brandon Burries from Arizona. So I think it would be a win-win trade.
Yeah, what crappy contracts would you have to take back in that deal, though, from the Clippers?
I don't care. If I can get Akoff, I don't care what they want to send along. I mean, that's me personally. I'm just really high on the guy. So
I will give you credit for this. Back in the day when Jalen Brunson was coming out into that draft, I was not a Jalen Brunson guy. I was like, dude, stop. Like, what? He might be nice, but you're not winning anything with Jalen Brunson if he's your best player. Then he goes to the Knicks. I was kind of in the same boat, and you have been the biggest Jalen Brunson guy of all time from the time he was in college all the way through, and you were right.
For once.
Yeah, well, you were. You called that. You called that back in the day.
Well,
you were all over it.
I mean, you don't have to be a basketball genius to figure that out. I mean, the fact that his IQ is off the charts is one thing, and he was raised in a basketball environment with his dad, so that didn't surprise me. I thought for sure he'd go in the first round, but to be honest with you, whoever thought he would reach the heights that he's reached now? I mean, nobody. Flat out nobody.
Right, and that's obviously part of it. What about what's left on this team outside of Rollins, who I think they will not trade? Is it simply Kuzma, Turner, and that'll probably be about it as far as guys they may potentially move at the end of the day?
Yeah, I really don't see any other moves. Turner is the intriguing. I mean, if they're going to do anything to get another first-round pick, I would think Turner would be involved. And remember when Turner threw Giannis under the bus about, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yep.
There's some people that believe that was done intentionally with the hopes of being traded from Milwaukee. So we'll see.
Well, now that Giannis is traded, now he's stuck because the guy that you just ripped is no longer in Milwaukee, and now they'll just keep you, and you can suffer along with everybody else that has to play on this basketball team. Tyler Hero.
Can you imagine if they would have packaged those two guys?
That would have been wonderful. What about Tyler Hero? Does he go tonight?
I don't think so. I tweeted out something, I don't know, 3-4 days ago that there was some conversations between the Bucks and the Pistons, and one of the guys that the Bucks liked was Ronald Holland, 6'8" forward.
Yep.
I think he's only 20 years old, got a big upside, but that's kind of died down a little bit. So, but again, the Pistons want a shooting guard, the Clippers want a shooting guard, so there's going to be 4 or 5 teams that would go after Hero in a heartbeat.
Gary Wolfel, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it. Follow him on X at Gary Wolfel. Go check out that podcast that he did with him and Mike Dunleavy Sr. I'm sure it is amazing. And then you can be crushed in the idea that they could have had Kobe. Ay. Gary, thank you so much.
Sounds good. See you, Steve.
Take care. There he is, Gary Wolfel, joining us here on the Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That is all. Still to come on today's show, things that we missed. We'll go over that trade that happened last night in the NBA that we have not talked about last night. That's kind of got to be a gut punch to Charlie.
It's fine.
I don't know. If I was a Bulls fan, the way that whole thing played out, I don't think I'd be very excited about how this whole thing played out. But we'll get into all that. We'll get into that coming up. And I want to know from you all, who do you want the Bucks to take at 10-13? Who do you want at 10 and 13? If you are a draftnik, if you are one of those guys that's going to be looking and rooting for certain players to get to a 10 and 13. Pro Hoops Draft Show tonight, Brandon Snide. And of course, Brian Butch, former Badger center, from 6 o'clock until the time the Brewers are done. Then it's the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show with Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz. Nikolai Law talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Welcome in. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. See Sparky Pfeiffer with you. Charlie Usen over there. You know, this Giannis thing, seen several people over the last 12 hours or so, maybe longer than that, whatever time it was, 10:30 last night. I can't do math on the air. Referencing Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, comparing those situations with Giannis and so forth. My take is pretty simple. It's not the same. Brett was front facing on his issues with the organization, over the top front facing, doing national interviews and everything else, talking to writers. Like, he was out there of how mad he was about his situation. Rodgers, maybe not as much, but still didn't hide his feelings, whether it be on the Pat McAfee show or wherever else, about what was going on. This dude here hid and acted like he had nothing to do with what was going on. That's the thing that I think makes it different than the other two. And you could say it makes it more frustrating, makes it more tiring, makes it more whatever. But that is the biggest difference. He wasn't doing this front facing. He was letting his agents behind the scenes do all the talking to all these national guys and getting the word out there. Then poking fun at and mimicking some of these guys that were pretty much going off of what they were being told. As kind of oh, look, they're idiots. I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere. But in reality, this has been going on for quite some time. And he was just trying to save from not getting booed and hated in Milwaukee, kind of at the end of the day.
Well, and he was just playing semantics the entire time, too, because his whole thing is that he does love Milwaukee. He wants to stay in Milwaukee, but the basketball side of things is what's taking him out of Milwaukee. And every time anybody said he wanted to be out of Milwaukee, he would pretend like they were talking about the city or they were talking about the place that he had all these great memories from. Because all that is true, that he probably will miss living in Milwaukee. He may come back here and live the rest of his life here after his career is over. You never know. But at the same time, he would pretend like those people are lying or those people are talking down on him and talking about his loyalty to the city instead of the team, even though he knew exactly what those people were talking about. They were talking about basketball. They're not talking about the city. They're not talking about that. They're not calling you a bad person because of that. They're calling you out because you're not talking about the basketball side of things, and you pretend like that doesn't exist when you're not on the court. That's crazy.
Yes. And that's been his whole thing this whole time. Now, somebody asked me, do you think Giannis gets booed when he comes back? No. He's not. They're not booing Giannis when he comes back, regardless of how dumb this was and how this whole thing played out. Not gonna
10-minute long tribute video, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't be long enough. Right. You're not booing Giannis when he comes back. Nobody's burning Giannis jerseys like we burn Brett Favre jerseys. Like, it ain't like that. This is his own isolated case from Rodgers. Rodgers was isolated from Brett. We'll never see the amount of anger that we saw with Brett. That's at a whole different level. That literally divided the Packer fan base in two. Families were fighting against each other in the house every time that came up about what side each was on. Some were on the owner side and the Packer side, not owner, but Packer side with Ted Thompson and those guys and Mark Murphy. And then others were on Favre's side saying, screw the Packers. I'll wear whatever jersey he wears wherever he goes. I'm never rooting for the Packers again. And some never came back. Others did after Favre was done, and then they came back and are Packer fans again, just like Favre ended up coming back to a full stadium and that nonsense that happened. And Giannis is definitely, when he comes back, when his career is done, is going to have huge long lines and all that other stuff. Now, will he come back? How much will he come back? Don't know. I have no idea. That dude could just pick up, move to Greece, and never come back to the country. Who knows how this whole thing will play out? No idea. John, downtown Milwaukee. You're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily with me, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. What's up, John?
Hey there, Sparky. Yeah, I tell you, it's a kind of a bittersweet day to see Giannis get traded. I'm like you. I've been through it all with the Bucks, but it all started with John Hammond having the foresight to draft Giannis Antetokounmpo back in 2013, and he helped develop Giannis and turn him into a great player that he became in Milwaukee. And I want to, thank Giannis for being a great player for the Milwaukee Bucks and winning the Bucks a championship when he did in 2021. So all great things with Giannis. I love how he bought 50 chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A after winning the championship through the drive-through window. And, to see Giannis get traded away is kind of bittersweet. You wish him the best. So we're going to have to see what the Bucks do tonight at pick 10 and 13. And hopefully they hit on both of those picks tonight.
Well, we'll find out. They're big picks now. Every pick is going to be big for this organization going forward. Appreciate it. Don't forget tonight, Brandon Snide, Brian Butch, Pro Hoops Draft Show right here for you. So right before that pick gets made, start calling in and telling these guys who you want. Right after the pick gets made, flood the phone lines with calls and text messages about what you think of that pick at 10. And then before 13, right back in the hopper again with these guys and so forth. And then just keep the show on, man, because the Bucks could very well end up back later in the first round if they make another deal. The thing about the NBA draft is you really just don't know when a deal is about to occur. You think it's over, and I was like, holy crap, the Bucks are on the clock. What happened? Or in this case, it won't happen because in the NBA, you don't do that. In the NBA, they tell you an hour later, oh, by the way, the Bucks made this trade an hour ago.
Do those guys that get traded between 3 different teams technically, do they get to keep all 3 hats or do they have to return 2 of the hats?
I would assume they return the hats.
I feel like you should get to keep all 3 hats. You got drafted
Maybe
by
they do.
all 3 teams technically.
Yeah. I mean, technically, you're right. You probably should be able to keep them, yeah. Lewis, north side of Milwaukee. You're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily. What's up, Lewis?
Sparky, here we are. 3 years you waited for the day. I got a question. Which promotion happens first? Buy 5 tanks of gas at Quick Trip, you get a free Bucks ticket. Buy 4 cheeseburgers at Culver's, you get a free Bucks ticket, or 2 foot-long subs, you get a free Bucks ticket.
No, it's definitely Wendy's because Wendy's is the sponsor of the Bucks. So I'm gonna roll with a couple of Baconators gets you a free ticket or something to a Bucks game.
It's probably going to happen. It's probably going to happen. And I'm going to get. Can you imagine the silence at the Pfizer Forum when the Sacramento Kings come in January? It's 12 degrees outside. Like, you're going to be able to take the whole family for $14. You know what I'm saying? So, everybody that didn't get a chance to see the Forum, now we're gonna go get to see a high school star.
It's true.
That's who he last starred for was Whitnell High School. This is what the Bucks gave us. You know what I'm saying? We had one of the best players in the world.
I just don't think Tyler Hero.
For a bunch of guys.
I could be wrong. I don't think Tyler Hero sees the floor for the Bucks. I think they trade Tyler Hero before we get to that point. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he will play for the Bucks, but I think they trade him.
That makes the trade even worse. You know what I'm saying? So now we traded Giannis for a bunch of ifs and maybes.
Yes, that's exactly what they did.
That's it.
That's
what I'm saying. And it's like we have to come to the realization this is a Jimmy Haslam move.
Yep.
Look what he did with Myles Garrett in Cleveland. He gave away Myles Garrett to LA for 4 footballs. You know what I'm saying? It's and Jersey. It's like the same thing he did with Giannis. He's like, Jimmy Haslam is saying, you know what? I'm the king. This is mine. We do what I say. And, as fans, we got to come to accept that. So in another 50 years, my grandson's celebrating, all these great picks.
We ain't going to be here. You and I won't see it.
Well, I said my grandson will see it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He'll see the next parade in 50 years because that's what's going to happen. But I got one positive thing before I go, Sparky. Guess what's going to make us forget about all of this?
Mizorowski?
This is what's going to make me and you happy. In October, this means our Brewers win the World Series.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. No, I got a question for you, Lewis, real quick here. We got a couple minutes.
Yeah.
What do you think the Bucks should do with that Giannis mural on that building? Should they be painted over with a Mizorowski mural? Should there be something else done with that, or should they leave the Giannis mural up?
I think you have to leave it up.
I don't.
You leave it up until at least he comes back. You know what I'm saying? Once he comes back, Miami comes, the first road trip, you do a video and then, hey, we're just going to white it over and maybe it's a big Milwaukee Bucks sign or something, or maybe it gets replaced with the Brewers World Championship banner.
Well, that's fine too. I mean, I'm fine putting Mizorowski up on the side of the wall or whatever. Thanks for the call. You got Bob Uecker up. That turned out awesome, by the way. Nicely done. I'd put Mizorowski up over it, Cherio up over it. Whatever. I mean, yeah, go ahead. Do it to it. That would come down if it was me. No chance. You're not here. We are not putting pictures of you up all over Milwaukee.
Probably
if you're
the
gone.
greatest Milwaukee sports player of all time.
Good for him.
Wisconsin
He's not
sports
here.
athlete of all time.
He's not here. When Michael Jordan was with the Wizards, he wasn't there. It was over.
Yeah, but people were still wearing Jordan jerseys.
Well, of
People were
course.
still had
I can't-
pictures
listen
of
to me.
Jordan up all over the
Let me-
stadium and the city for sure.
Let me explain something to you. I can't control if somebody wants to wear a Giannis jersey to a game, but I can control potentially that I'm not having Giannis stuff up all over the city when he comes back wearing another uniform. No chance. That's all gone. That's erased. When you decide you're going to retire and then you come back for the statue or whatever, then we could talk about getting a mural back up in the city for you and putting stuff back up. But when you're playing on another team, could you imagine Aaron Rodgers playing for the Packers and there's Brett Favre stuff all over Green Bay as he's driving around? Come on. Or Jordan Love driving around. There's Aaron Rodgers stuff all over as he's driving around. And he's got to look at that stuff all the time. No chance. No, that should not stay up. That should be pulled down or painted over or whatever they're going to do.
Put a Tyler Hero mural up then.
See, y'all say I rage bait. Dude, Charlie is just as bad as I am. He said we'll put a Tyler Hero mural up instead.
Oh, you rage baiter.
Yeah, that's what it is.
We should put up a Sparky mural.
Oh, that'd be sick.
There's not a building big enough for the size of my
just
head.
the head and then
like
the
a water
littlest
tower.
stick.
You could do him on a water tower. Put his head on the water tower, his body on the water tower.
That would actually be good. That's actually not a bad
my
idea.
God.
That probably is a good character of
Man,
it.
Charlie cooking you the hardest at the end of the show doesn't always happen when I'm here, but that's a victory.
But that's accurate. I would say that would be a good one.
I am determined to put your head on a water tower now.
Or get to it. See, you're big time Tommy. Do
If I can get on a billboard, let's get Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on a water
Damn
tower.
straight.
Sure.
Easy.
Pick it. I'm all for it.
I'm all in. Dude, I'm going to get on this phone with the city of Oak Creek right now.
See if you can make it happen. We know the mayor. I know the mayor.
Oh, okay. All right.
We
You know the mayor?
Yeah, we do. Yep.
Did you see the mayor commenting on Giannis leaving? Should the mayor be commenting on Giannis leaving?
Sure. Everybody can comment about Giannis leaving. I don't care.
Like a press conference,
Sure.
the mayor?
Go ahead.
That's garbage.
People are going to ask about what happened. Why did Tommy Wirtz get fired that day? Well, it's a back to the water tower thing that he did. That'll do it for Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Enjoy the rest of your night. Pro Hoops Draft Show is going to be awesome from 6 to 9. And then right now, coming up next, Tommy Wirtz with the leadoff show, getting ready for Brewers-Reds game 2. Have a good night. Toodles.